Awesome. Thank you very much, Francis. Thank you very much, Judy. We will see you guys here shortly. And this is going to be a fun one. Global time attack is what we're going to talk about here now. And Jason, I don't want to mispronounce your last name. Is it Dienhart or Dienhart?
Dienhart, thank you.
Dienhart. Okay, good. At least I got it right on the first guess. But anyhow, how are you today? Thanks a lot for coming on with us.
I am doing great. I appreciate you guys having us on. This has been a great experience the last few years. It's always nice to be able to have the opportunity to talk about time attack racing.
Well, let's give a quick review exactly what time attack is. And man, you guys are coming up on your 20th season of this, if my math is correct, 21st season.
Well, there's an event that we've taken over that Super Street Magazine started back in 2004 that they used to call the Super Lap Battle at Buttonwillow. It was always the week after SEMA. It started off the first few years as an editorial event. I used to actually work there as an event ops person for the magazine, and luckily was a part of creating the rule book back with John Laderi, who was the editor at that time back in 2004. And the event went on 2004, 5, 6, on upwards to 2010. When we started Global Time Attack, I ended up leaving the magazines back in '06. Long story short, 2012, we started working together on that event, and I've taken it over since as Super Street's become less event oriented, no more magazine, they're online only. So yeah, we're very grateful, proud to be able to be the curators of that event now and carry on that tradition of the first organized time attack for our scene in the United States back in '04. So yes, we just had the 19th one. And yeah, next year is going to be the 20th. So we're looking to do some special things next year to commemorate that.
Wow, that's pretty special for sure. Well, give us an idea of what an event weekend is like. In fact, you guys have your first one coming up at the beginning of March as well. So,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the 2024 schedule, and for someone who's never experienced it, what is a weekend like?
All right. Well, if you don't know what time attack racing is, it's a race against the clock. They're not racing for a checker or in a traditional race in a time format of a 40-minute race or a 20-minute race. Um, it's almost set up like action sports in a sense to where each team will be in a group of cars, maybe 12 to 15 cars, depending upon the track, and they'll get 4 heats. We call them sessions per day, 2 before lunch, 2 after. They're usually 15 minutes long. And those are the only opportunities that you have to go out there and lay down your fastest lap. Usually events are 2 days, and that will happen over a 2-day period, normally Saturday and a Sunday, sometimes a Friday and a Saturday. And whatever your fastest time was for your team, your car, over that 2-day period is what gets used to create, the winners in the podium. Each of our competitions are different. Like a lot of racing series, the first one you talked about coming up in March is at Circuit of the Americas, otherwise known as COTA in Austin, Texas. Beautiful facility, awesome track. We've been renting that one out as our first event of the year since 2019. The past one that we just had back earlier in March of 2023 was the biggest and baddest one that we've ever had yet in terms of an overall event. So this one's a little bit unique because we go in as the full promoter, and Time Attack is the star of the weekend. We have support racing series there like Grid Life's GLTC, which is a wheel-to-wheel racing competition that they have and a series that they have. So one of their first stop is at our Super Lap Battle event at COTA, which is great. We also have a drifting element. Lone Star Drift comes out, does ride-alongs. They do some parade laps. So that's a lot of fun. There's an exhibition going on in the skid paddock. Just Vibes Car Show has a huge car show. Last year there was 300 cars on display. COTA also thankfully does a Cars and Coffee on the Sunday. So there's like another 400 or 500 cars out there for the Cars and Coffee. So it just creates a really cool motorsports festival. It's very accessible. The paddock's open, the pits are open, the garages are accessible for families to come out and young people to experience these cars, and for fans to come out. Because it's an F1 track, we're able to get some of the best time attack cars in North America to come at the same weekend and compete against each other. We've had some international teams in the past. Coda kind of put a little speed bump in the road on that, but the prices for containers are coming back down to normal. So we're looking at, creating that pathway again and getting some more international teams from Australia and from Japan. We work closely with Ian Baker of World Time Attack Challenge in Australia, which is the largest event that happens once a year, usually every October. Road Atlanta is in May. It's our second event traditionally. That one, we're a support series, so this one's much different. We're not the star of the show at that one. It's a Formula Drift event. It's actually called Drift Atlanta. And I believe it's Formula Drift's first major event that they ever had was this particular event. I want to say that was in, gosh, I can't remember, maybe 02, 03 or something like that. So it's been going on for a very long time. We've been a part of it as a support series since 2012. So again, long time running. That's what we like to create with these time attack events. Are annual events, obviously once a year, at really cool tracks, cool circuits, same time of the year. So we could just build, a tradition. And Road Atlanta has been one of those. That's great. After that, we've got a new one that we're adding to the schedule at Pikes Peak International Raceway. It's called Ascend. It's their event, and we're coming on as a partner to be the time attack component and to take over that portion of the event and make sure that that's safe, fast, fun, and good for everyone. So we're really excited about that. They live streamed that one. They had their first one just back in July, a couple months back. So we're happy to be a part of it at the foundation, and hopefully for years to come, it could be something cool for people in the Colorado Springs area and even just that region to come out to. It's spectator heavy. They have a big fireworks show. It's right around 4th of July. So it's another, it's a little bit more like the Super Lap Battle Coda vibe, where it's a full event that we're a part of with spectators and whatnot. Where Time Attack is the star of the show, which is great and always good to see. After that, in August, we're at the Ridge Motorsports Park up in Washington State. Not sure if you're very familiar with that track. It's really cool. They had to clear out a forest, basically. It's just pine trees everywhere. It's super beautiful. Portion of the paddock is where you see the main straight, and you take a hard sweeping left and you go up on the ridge. So from the spectator area on the paddock, it's kind of hard to see what's going up on the backside. But then they come back around and they have their own version of the corkscrew, like Laguna Seca does.
Oh, wow.
Which is really great. So for fans and for video and whatnot, it's a really great location to see the cars come back down and enter that corkscrew, and then the sweeping left before they go back down the main straightaway and just hit like huge mile-an-hour speeds right there. We're going to live stream that one for the first time in 2024. I think we started going there back in 2019, if I'm correct. That one, we're the star of the show in that one in terms of Time Attack. We're the main promoter on that particular event at the Ridge. We've partnered with the track. Lone Star Drift follows us up from Texas all the way up there to Washington, does a drift ride-along program and an exhibition in the paddock. And what's unique about this place is that they do allow us to do full course drift. So we have a drifting session for about 15 minutes to break up the Time Attack sessions mid-morning, and then again after lunch. And with that corkscrew, love it or leave it, it does look cool with someone drifting down, multiple cars drifting down the corkscrew. It's a pretty fun deal. And then like I said, it'll be the 20th gathering of Crazy Time Attack drivers and Crazy Time Attack cars at Buttonwillow, November next year. So like I said, we've got some tricks up our sleeve for that. We're hoping to bring out some legendary cars from yesteryear and some exhibition classes and just kind of see what they can do for fun. So yeah, I'm just really positive and grateful for the support of the Time Attack community that, some of these events have been going on for so long. It's just really a testament to the passion out there for this type of racing and building these types of cars.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, especially to be able to bring, not just great racing events, but car culture to a lot of these places and everything that you're doing. So I am curious. We have a lot of suppliers with the park trade, and I think to myself, with the 6 different classes that you guys have, I would say we probably have a supplier for every class in some way, shape, or form, and I would imagine every class could use just about everyone that we have here on the platform. Tell us about the cars from an enthusiast class all the way up to a pro class.
So, of course, the enthusiast class kind of sounds like what it is. It's more of what our entry level class is, what someone would compare it to. But just like any of the classes, if you look at the rules and you take it all the way up to where you're just almost creeping into the next class, those cars do look, not so mild to, what you would think is an entry level, but they've got to be on the least stickiest tire, like a 220 tread wear. I'm sorry, 240 tread wear or higher. They have minimal aero that they're allowed to do, like so no flat bottoms. They're allowed to add one aero element to the front. So let's say a splitter or some canards. The splitter could only be 3 inches out from the furthest point of the stock point of the bumper. They could add one aero element in the back. So let's say it could be aftermarket wing, or it could be a diffuser, one or the other. There's limitations for them on the sizes of those as well. So that's one thing. Tires, aero, also interior. The interior needs to be stock, except for safety, of course. And as you go up to the next one, like street class, you're allowed to have, more aero elements in the front, more aero elements in the back. Still no flat bottom in that particular class. You're allowed to go with a much stickier tire, like the preferred 200 tread wear Yokohama AO52, which is a great tire. Holds a lot of records in that class at a bunch of different tracks that we go to. You jump up to limited. Now you're allowed to get really wild. So if someone looks up time attack cars and they find some of our wild looking builds, or a wild looking build from Japan or from Australia, it's going to be limited class and the unlimited class. So limited, you're allowed to do a flat bottom. You're allowed to have Lexan windows in the back and the sides, still glass in the front. You're allowed pretty much to take out almost all of your interior. Still need to have a functioning and stock looking appearance dash. You could run the same tire or up to a 40 tread wear tire if you didn't want to run the Yokohama. Oops. You guys still there? Okay, sorry about that. My
Yeah,
computer keeps shutting off on accident. Sorry about that.
we haven't lost you for what it's worth.
Oh, okay, good. It kind of freaks me out for a second. So yeah, limited class, you're also allowed to have what we consider a pro driver. So, someone that's obviously a pro driver, or, where's kind of the line on that? If you get paid to drive, we consider you a pro driver. So even like a Formula Drift full-time driver that would like to come and run in the time attack, we consider that person a pro driver because they do it for a living. The unlimited class, it's not actually fully unlimited, but I mean, it's really close. Not many people take it to the limit of the unlimited class. You're allowed huge aero in the front. I mean, where it looks insane. Some people do it, not everybody does. You also have to have the horsepower to move that thing around the track. If you've got a ton of aero, obviously. Again, you're allowed to run a flat bottom. You don't need any interior in the car. It could be full race car spec on the inside and look like a full race car on the inside, even though it started out as a VIN numbered production car. That is the commonality between all of the 4 traditional time attack classes, is that it must start out as a road going, mass produced, VIN numbered car. So no factory race cars, no factory prep like Porsche Cup cars or things like that. So that's something that helps level the playing field between, whether if you've got someone with, let's say, a front-wheel drive Honda that's got to compete in limited class against an all-wheel drive Subaru, or a rear-wheel drive, Corvette or something like that. So it's one way to level it out with the things we talked about, the limitations on the aero, the limitations on the tire. And the one reason why we do the interior thing, it's for weight, but really not so much. It's also for aesthetic. We want our fans to be able to differentiate between the different classes easily. One thing that we do is each class has its own sticker color for the windshield banners. kind of go by like a karate format, yellow for enthusiasts, and it kind of goes up to black for
Ah,
unlimited, which is kind of cool.
yeah.
But again, that's just something to where visually, when people are watching our live streams, we want for them to kind of quickly see like, oh, okay, well, what car's Brad? And okay, it's, that Corvette there, and it's got a blue windshield banner. Okay, well, that means he's limited class, so that kind of helps, we think. And that's part of it as well. Someone comes and walks by and looks at a car in the paddock and it's got full interior, but he was one of those people that took it to the limit in enthusiast class. Is it a street class car? Is it not? Well, it's got full interior. It's definitely an enthusiast class car. So that, again, that's part of the reason too that we're trying to make it for a better fan experience as well.
That's really cool. And it's, I mean, look, on the website, you guys have a very extensive set of rules, which covers every single class, covers the general rules and all of that, which is a really great thing. I mean, when you start talking about competition and getting racers out there, this has been a popular question here today on the chat, and we're going to ask you for Global Time Attack as well. Do you have any electric vehicles, unlimited, or anything like that? Where do EVs fit in right now?
Yeah, we allow them. So one thing for us so far that's actually been kind of easy for us to integrate them in is in all of the classes, enthusiast class, street, limited and unlimited, and even pro comp, there's no limit on horsepower. None. So if you did want to create an enthusiast class level car that's running on 240 treadwear, narrow tires, limited aero, right, and have 800 horsepower, good luck. I highly doubt that you're going to be the fastest car on the scene. It just doesn't really work that way, as you know. You're going to need aero. You're going to need, the car to be much more stable and whatnot. And in the enthusiast class, it's tough to do that with that much power. Now, because of that, we didn't look at the electric car as being like a power plant then that we shouldn't allow. So we've allowed it, and we just make them adhere to all the other things that I kind of barely touched upon, some, bullet points of the rules, in the classes and whatnot. As you've seen on the website, it's much more extensive than that. So yeah, we've had Teslas for probably at least 3 or 4 seasons now, sporadically, that would compete. There's an outfit called Unplugged Performance out of Southern California that's been pretty active with us. And just recently, to be honest with you, which was a big surprise, and it was great. But the Button Willow event that we just had a couple weeks ago, the quickest car and the winner of the event was Unplugged Performance, Unlimited Class Tesla Plaid. I have to double check. I think he ran a 143. Excuse me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't have it in front of me. But very fast time, fastest of the weekend. Would have loved to see him get into the high 130s, because then you're starting to kiss the record, which is really cool. But it is great to see these guys take that car to that level so quick. They've only been in this program for a couple years now. They've raced a car at Pikes Peak as well. You could look it up and see it there too. Craig Coker was driving it. He's driven a street class Tesla with this many times, and now he got his hands on the big one and was able to lay it down. So yes, they have been a part of it. Evasive Motorsports also does a Tesla 3 that Dai Yoshihara drives in Pikes Peak, and he's also competed with us as well at Button Willow and also at Coda, which is pretty cool with that car. So yeah, they're in the midst. They're there.
I like
We
it.
we welcome them, like anything else. We'll see how things go, season to season. We try not to make any big changes without any long warnings, but right now we're, going to stay the course with allowing them again, and looking at the power plant as just another power plant.
Yeah, I like what you said about being able to lay a lap down, because again, depending on which class you're running, whether your Tesla has ludicrous speed or not, for example, or you bring something with big power, if you're in an enthusiast class on that 240 tire, that's what you're going to be limited to. So, I mean, to your point, high horsepower might not necessarily mean smooth laps around the racetrack, right?
100%. I come from drag racing, and that was my first love. And that's just something that we wanted to apply to this as well. And in true time attack, that really comes from Japan and a long time ago, that was another thing as well, that the power was never a limitation. It was always about tire, aero, and other things. So we just thought that that was a cool way to carry on with it, and we haven't had to adjust it since.
One thing I like about this too, especially considering the fact, like you said, you don't have horsepower limitations and all of that, is the innovation that you can see throughout the series as well, and what people are doing, what works, what fresh ideas that people have as well. Because with such a variety of race cars, I would imagine that Jason, you guys just see everything.
We do. I mean, that's really a unique thing about it. People will build a car that they want to build. So it might not be traditionally the fastest car, maybe known for, track racing or circuit racing, right? But it's what they want to create. And it's their expression of, their racing dreams, with a car or even a truck, you know what I mean, that they want to build. We have the Phillips brothers out of Washington State. Uh, One of them has a like mid 80s S10 Chevy pickup that's just been fully built to the unlimited class global time attack rule set again, which is touching, but I mean, full on time attack race car that he built, out of this truck, which is just super rad. And his brother's got like a 56 Tri 5 like Bel Air Chevy that's all black. And this thing looks awesome, that all time attacked out with, full cage and, tweaks to the suspension and big wide tires on it. We've got Mike Burrows with the 308 Ferrari with a K24 Honda engine in it. That's, got the internet going nuts. And he brought the car out just to Buttonwillow. Had a couple issues, but that's time attack. Everybody does. But it's great to see, and again, the Tesla one from Unplugged Performance, that's something new and different. So yeah, you see a huge variety of the types of cars. 10 years ago, it was predominantly Asian imports and European imports. Now those cars are still very active, or those types of cars, but we're seeing much more Corvettes, much more BMWs, and much more, I don't want to say oddities, but just different cars. Like we talked about the Phillips brothers and the two different Chevys. There's a gentleman, Navarez Racing, I think it was, at Buttonwillow, that had like a late 60s Mustang, which was really awesome to see. So, that's American time attack. It's definitely different from our counterparts in Japan and Australia, but it is neat to see the uniqueness of what, people in the States bring out.
That is really cool. And I am curious your thoughts on why you think maybe the trends have shifted to where they are. Is it that maybe some of the tuner cars that we're running, the Asian cars and all of that, is that just a fad that is shifting to something else? Is it availability of what I might be able to reasonably take a car and build? Because these all have to have been production cars at one point in their life, right? So
Yes.
is it a combination of that? What do you think it is?
I don't know if there's so much of a fall off of the amount and the interest in the Asian import cars. Um, I still see, a lot of the big spend builds with those types of cars, meaning like a dedicated time attack build that I know someone spent, upwards of over $200,000 on this car. I still see that. I'm seeing some fresher builds coming from these different areas, like the older American cars and newer American cars. I think that's really just coming from the sport growing and becoming more accessible to more people that didn't think that it was something that they could do with their car. And yes, the way that a rule set is, it doesn't say that you can't have a V8. It doesn't say that you can't have a push rod. So if you want to come with that flavor, that you can. And it's just it's taken years for people to build these cars. That's part of the heartache for me as a promoter, but it's just the nature of the beast. These people are sole proprietors. If they do get support, it's usually not huge monetary support, usually product, which is still great. Again, talking about these different companies that support you guys, and the ones out there that support the teams and whatnot. And I see some of them that are like ARP. I know they're out there supporting a lot of these time attack teams too. And that's a lot of it is. A lot of it is just helping getting these teams to these events. It doesn't even always have to be actually helping GTA as a series sponsor. It's about just helping the community get out and go fast.
That's really cool. I know the first event for 2024, March 8th through 10th at Circuit of the Americas. We did have a question from the chat earlier when you were talking about the schedule, asking about a Vermont event planned for 24 or 25. Think you can make it up there to Upper New England?
Not in 2024, but I don't rule anything out. We were at Palmer Motorsports Park up in New England a couple years back to try that out. But the paddock is really small, and for growth, it just wasn't something that was going to work for us. And where the place was at, they want to enforce a decibel limit that's really tough for unlimited horsepower vibes, you know. So probably wouldn't go back to Palmer unless those things changed. But we're always on the lookout to go to somewhere new or to revisit somewhere. And the Mid-Atlantic area is a place that's been tough for us to have a consistent annual event at. We've been to New Jersey Motorsports Park probably 7 times at least over the past 12 years, but the last few years it's been every other. It's been hard to get nailed down one date with them that's been able to work each year. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So again, that's why I've always got my ears and eyes open for opportunities. But to be honest with you, no way in 2024 we're set with what we've got right now.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I'll tell you what, this has been a lot of fun, Jason, chatting with you about what you guys have going on with Global Time Attack. And we appreciate you coming on with us here on the opening day of Race Industry Week. I would encourage people to go to globaltimeattack.com and check it out. You guys are pretty thorough with anything that a racer might need.
Yes. Thank you so much again. Thank you for the opportunity. It's always great to talk about Time Attack. And I really enjoy this, this week. It's great. I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Thank you very much, Jason. Great to have you back on the program. And
registering on ePartrade is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to ePartrade.